Okay, so Dragon Ball Daima episode 10 just recently got released, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit disappointed. But before we get into it, do me a huge favor and like, comment, subscribe, as well as join our Discord server if you want to talk with me directly, or the community, as well as checking out our channel hoodies, and let's jump straight into it. So episode 10 starts out with the fight we were all looking for, Majin Kuu versus Tamagami number 1, and this fight actually started out with them seemingly being evenly matched. They're exchanging some blows, but very soon into the fight, Kuu starts to get slapped around. But before we can see too much of that, we jump to Pansy, Goku, Glorio, and the Supreme Kai, which are discussing going to the second demon world instead of the first. And their reason being is because they're going to keep Dende alive because they need him. They can go to the second demon world while they're here to go collect all of the Dragon Balls first, so they can also become adults and or save Dende if needed with the Dragon Balls. There's a funny little gag that we also see with Vegeta, Hybiss, and Bulma as to Vegeta's real reasons for wanting to become an adult and real reason for wanting Bulma to become an adult again. Pretty funny here. But and then we keep bouncing back and forth between the fight with Majin Kuu and Tamagami number 1, and the fight's just completely goofy. I mean, to be honest, I have some huge gripes with this character design. I think it's just, generally speaking, kind of bad. It doesn't look like Majin Buu. Like, that's the whole point, is that this was introduced as being like, oh, the new Buu. And I know that they're trying to be kind of outlandish with some of the designs and be contrarian and do something that you won't really expect. But there's nothing really about this character that strikes me as Majin Buu. He literally has Mr. Popo lips and looks like a Cyberman. Like, of course, he was created using the Cyberman seed as well. But guess what he was also created by? He was also created by literally using the essence of fat Majin Buu himself. Like, nothing, he doesn't fight like any fighter we've seen so far. He's not as vicious as Kid Buu is. He doesn't seem to have any abilities that are like Buu. He does like one blast this whole fight. And something that was pretty unique about Buu that I feel like really makes Buu seem like a Buu is the fact that their bodies are made up of almost this goop-like substance which allows them to absorb people. Like, we didn't see any of that. So his body doesn't even seem to be made out of the same material as Buu. I think was intended to be like the body structure and kind of like what Kid Buu is supposed to be, but again, I just don't really see it, unfortunately, and I know I'm not the only person who has this issue with the character design, but let me know what you guys think down below. Am I crazy? Like, I just don't like it. But anyways, Goku and the others arrive, and the Supreme Kai finds the second demon world to be pretty nostalgic. He also mentions the Kraken, which, again, is a reference to an ancient sea monster, kind of like the colossal squid that would take pirate ships down. We get to see bits and glimpses of it. We get to see the full body later on. And we also see that there's celestial bodies within the demon world, and some of them are pretty close to, or seemingly pretty close to, the surface of what I guess we could say is the main demon world planet or whatever they're on. And the one that we see pointed out is what is the original planet Namek, or what the Namekians originally came from. It has the same appearance as planet Namek did in Dragon Ball Z. It seems like it has the same trees. They mentioned that they probably took some of the trees with them when they left, or some of the seeds. We see some old abandoned village buildings. Again, same type of architecture that we see on planet Namek in Z. And it's mentioned that the Namekians are wanted because we're wanted and were enslaved due to their special abilities. We already know this. We know that there's different kinds of Namekians. Some are fighters. They have the ability to assimilate or fuse. We've seen that multiple times with the Namekians in Universe 6 and Piccolo, Kami, and Nail. They're extraordinarily powerful. They can also split. They can create the Dragon Balls, which in and of itself is something of extreme significance, so it makes sense as to why they would want to be, which makes sense as to why other races would want to enslave them, and also some magic abilities as well. Like, for example, when Piccolo gave Gohan his clothes and just spawned it on him. And again, jumping back to the fight with Majin Kuu and Tamagami number 1, he pulls what seems to be an after image strike. If you play Sparking Zero, you know exactly what that looks like. He pulls it on Majin Kuu, and he's literally, he doesn't know what is going on. He's literally defenseless. Piccolo and the others arrive and mention that even though Piccolo's never been there, it's a little bit of a gag. Everybody keeps mentioning, oh, Piccolo, like, this is your home, this is your homeland, and he's like, I've never been here before. But even though he's never been there before, he says that the planet still feels familiar. And then again, we jump back to the fight, and Majin Kuu literally just gives up. He's like, I I can't do it. And then Dr. Arinsu fires him, which was pretty funny. Small spoiler, so just cover your ears for a couple seconds, but like I've mentioned before, Geekdom 101 mentioned that we're gonna see another Majin Buu type character called Majin Kuu, and this is probably a reason why, is because the other one, because Majin Kuu kind of sucks. Okay, uncover your ears if you don't want spoilers. So this is where the Supreme Kai tells us some insane information and explains a lot about the history of the Dragon Ball universe and the origins of some races. So make sure you're sitting down because we're going to get into it. So long ago, the Supreme Demon King wanted to expand the demon realm and ordered the Super Majin Raimus to create the universe. That's right, create the universe. That's right, create the universe, but it's implied, obviously, it's multiple, it's plural universes. We see a bunch of universes get created. And it seems that Raimus is the supreme authority in the universe, but it's implied that it's plural. I heard some people saying that that's just a type of mistranslation and Raimus is a specific character, in which case he seems to be of Zeno's race, and the figure seems to be a little bit older, potentially a bit wiser than Zeno, implying that it's some sort of predecessor and potentially much more powerful than Zeno. This could open up a whole line, a whole roster of different characters on Zeno's scale, which could open some doors as to how strong Goku and Vegeta could really get, but hey, I might be getting ahead of myself. Anyways, Raimus then chose some Glynes, which, if we remember, they're the Supreme Kai characters, that's their race name, to watch over the new universes as they were pre-populated from beings from the Demon Realm. But we learned that not all races came from the Demon Realm, such as the Earthlings and the Saiyans specifically. We know that they did not come from the Demon Realm, and the Supreme Kai confirms this. But we do know that there is some sort of connection with the Demon Realm, as they got their Cyberman seeds likely from Marba, and she mentioned previously that she would sell them to outsiders when she had more. So, and we also do know that the Saiyan race is a royal lineage, so there was likely some ancestor to Vegeta and King Vegeta that had some sort of tie with Marba, and maybe made some sort of deal or something where they would get these Cybermen seeds or sell spoils of war, some conquest items to Marba, and they would obtain these Cybermen seeds to help them in their endeavors. But anyways, that was just something that completely opens up some doors as to the past of the Saiyans. We also learn about Dabura's predecessor, Abura, which we did see him in the intros. I actually thought it was going to be like Dabura's fat brother or something, but apparently it was his predecessor. Anyways, Abura limited the use of Warp Sama because he had a fear of outsiders, and it's also reiterated that the Glynes, again, are born from trees, which we all knew, and that most if not all of those trees are gone, which means that they're all eventually going to die out, as Bulma points out. This has major implications because, as we already know from Dragon Ball Super, the Supreme Kais are essentially attached to their respective gods of destruction, and if they die, so does their destroyer. Now, there is a little bit of a compromise, and that's if another becomes a Supreme Kai, like for example, a Goasu's passing the torch on to Zamasu before he caused the whole Goku Black arc, but we haven't really seen an example that I'm aware, where someone other than a Glynd becomes a Supreme Kai. So does this mean that all of the destroyers are eventually going to perish? I mean, I don't know. But we also learned that the Supreme Kai's world is, again, barren, and as they're about to leave, we see an old Namekian that appears by their ship. It's a little unclear if they're going to make contact, but this character seems to have a pretty menacing appearance and reminds me of the Namekian that we saw in episode 1. I don't know if it's the same one because the initial Namekian seemed to be kind of dumb and fumbly, but I mean, who knows? Let me know what you guys think down below. What's going to happen with this new Namekian character? Is he going to help them out? Is he not? We do know that Glorio's kind of in the background still working with Dr. Arinsu, which is an entire side plot, so it seems like once they collect the Dragon Balls, there's going to be some sort of complication there, but I'm a little bit uncertain. A couple other things to keep in mind is that Goku still has in his pouch a bunch of berries that he collected from one of the shops. One of these berries is a fusion berry, and not only that, it enables a fusion between multiple people, so we're going to potentially see one of the first fusions with a bunch of people, or at least like 3. We do know that Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo are all in the Demon Realm, as well as Glorio, so there is the potential of seeing some of those fuse. If there were to be a 3-way fusion, I definitely see Piccolo, Goku, and Vegeta being the ones being fused, but realistically, I kind of just want to see Goku and Vegeta. I want to see if we're going to get like a third type of fusion, or if it's just going to be like Vegito or Gogeta. I have no idea, but I'm very, very curious. In the near future, we're probably going to see Goku and Vegeta versus Tamagami number 2. It makes sense for them to get more powerful as they go down in number and in Demon Realm. And another thing I wanted to note before we close off is that, I'm not gonna lie, it seems I thought that the characters in Daima were not significantly nerfed, but it actually, there was one comment in particular that kind of caught me off guard, and it was that Goku told Vegeta that they're not strong enough, essentially, to take down the Kraken. Now, are there ways to reconcile this? Maybe, but it just seems like they just weren't strong enough, which I'm really bummed out about because I don't like the idea of them just being super, super weak. I know that they're kids, but I don't really like that, but it seems like that's kind of the approach that they're trying to take, is just make everyone weaker, because just the power ceiling has gotten so high in Z and Super, so the only way to counteract that is to, you know, make them kids, take it back a notch, so you can kind of make the story more realistic in a sense. But I don't know, that bummed me out a bit. Initially, I thought that because Dabura couldn't beat the Tamagamis and collect the Dragon Balls, and Goku was able to easily beat Tamagami number 1, I thought that he wasn't significantly nerfed, especially since he only went Super Saiyan 2. But judging by the fact that they can't beat that Kraken, I mean, maybe that Kraken is just a Super Kraken, judging by that, and also by the fact that, you know, Majin Kuu is just super weak, or he seems to be kind of weak compared to the Tamagamis. Either the Tamagamis are really powerful and the Demon World's insane, or they're just significantly nerfing these characters, unfortunately. But we'll see how it goes. Anyways, Goku and Vegeta are also probably going to fight Majin Kuu soon. And again, jumping to our spoilers, we know that Majin Doo is going to be brought into the show. Dr. Rinsu and Marba are going to create another Boo, maybe to replace Kuu. Majin Doo, he looks a little bit more like Fat Boo. I like the character design a little bit more, but not a whole lot. I think there's going to be a potential fusion between those two, or absorption, and a potential Vegito, Kid Vegito, could face off against this potential fusion. That's something that I would like to see. Maybe we'll see another version of Fat Boo versus Evil Boo, Majin Kuu versus Majin Doo. I have no idea, but let me know what you guys think down below. Is there anything else we missed in this episode? Let's hear it. If you want to engage with me or the community, be sure to join our Discord server. I'll leave the link down below, as well as checking out our channel hoodie. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, because that actually does what the subscribe button was supposed to do initially. And having said that, I'll catch you in the next one.